Hey, it's James here from GoodGuitarist.com, and today we're going to learn a simple chord melody for Love Me Tender by Elvis. It goes like this. Now, I first recommend being able to strum through the song in a simple way, and I made a lesson where we already did that, just love me tender, love me long, doing that kind of thing. There's a link to that down below on my website. You'll find the chord chart, all the stuff that you need for that lesson and for this lesson, so it's all down below. Also, while you're down there, if you don't mind subscribing to the channel, hitting the like and all that, if you like learning guitar with me. Anyways, let's just dive right in. We're starting out on a C chord, and instead of strumming the whole thing, we're just gonna pick up to the G string, and then we're gonna stop our string on the B string. So that's an important technique, to kind of, I'm not thinking I want to pick these three strings. I'm thinking I want my pick to land on the B string and stop there before picking that string. So I'm essentially just aiming to land it on that B string, and I happen to go through those three strings, which gives me that melody note. Love, that's the first note of the song. And then I'm gonna pick the B string, and then I lift my index to reveal the open string, and then back to my first finger. Love me tender. And once you can get that down, you're going to be able to nail the rest of the song. Just that idea of resting the pick and then having the chord ring while you pick out those three notes. Moving on, we go to the D chord. And normally I'd be tempted to play it like this. If I was isolating it, I would just play the D chord like that. You'd be crazy not to. But since we're coming from this C chord, and I want this note to keep ringing, I'm actually going to put my middle finger on the second fret of the G string and my ring finger on the third fret of the B string, just like when I'm playing a D minor chord, because we're not using that highest string anyways. And this is a much smoother way to work our way into that chord. And I just strum these three strings, D string, and then I get my pick to land and rest on the thinnest string. And then I pick my G string and B string again to create our melody. Love me true. And you'll notice the timing. I have it timed out in a really simple way, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But when Elvis is singing it, he's like, love me tender, love me long, and it's like all like organic and stuff, right? And it's definitely not like right on beats 1, 2, 3, 4. I recommend learning it this way first though, so that you can nail it and playing it with a metronome and all that and getting all the muscle memory for it. Then you're going to be free to express yourself and to get your Elvis going, and make it sound more beautiful and all that stuff, right? Anyways, moving on. Next we have a G chord. And once again, we're not going to play G like we always do. We're going to put our ring finger on the third fret of the thickest string. And if you watch my channel, I always do play G this way too, but we just need that one finger. And it's muting the A string, just because the underside of your finger is going to be lightly touching it. And here, we're going to start by putting our index down on the first fret of the B string, just like it is on a C chord. And that's our first stroke. And we're going to land on the high E string. And then we release our index, pluck the B string again. And then my middle finger goes on the 2nd fret of the G string, and then back to the open B string. So, and I know I'm lifting my fingers a lot, and that's just to make it clear so you can see, but really you want your fingers to be kind of in position, like. It's just harder to tell what I'm doing. That's why I always play with like my fingers all winging out, but like that's bad technique. I hate to, it's like a balance, right? Nobody's gonna see what I'm doing if I don't do that, but make sure that you start, kind of, I just want to point that out, that your fingers are close. And then we finish up by resting on a C chord, and we rest our pick on the thinnest string. So our melody note is that, the B string, like that. And then we do that all one more time, just like that. Then we have our chorus, the climax of the song. And for this one, we start off with our C chord. Make sure that we're curling all our fingers good so that the thinnest string rings out cleanly. And we just strum it all. 1, 2, 3. So I strum everything on beat 1, and then on beats 2 and 3, I just pick the thinnest string again. Orally. And then I do the same thing for the E chord. Probably the easiest 2 measures of the song. Then we go into an F chord, and F, usually it's a bar chord, but we're just going to use a few notes of that bar chord. We're going to play, it feels like a C chord, except my ring and my middle are moved up, and all my fingers are in like a diagonal line. First finger's on the 1st fret of the B string, middle finger on the 2nd fret of G, then my ring finger is on the D string at the 3rd fret. And we're going to strum the top 4 strings. Gives us a beautiful F major 7 chord. Then my pinky is going to play the 3rd fret of the B string, and then I'm going to lift it to reveal my index finger. That's our next melody note, and then back to my pinky. So, and then we strum our C chord again. And now our final line, we start out by strumming the entire C chord. We strum the thinnest string again. Then I'm going to put my index finger on the 1st fret of the thinnest string, and then the open thinnest string. So, and then here, same deal as our first line. And then so for that G chord, we start out the same way, open string, but instead of going down like that, we're gonna go, and then we play the open thinnest string, and then our pinky goes on the 3rd fret of the B string, and then we play our C chord with our top note being the B string. So our pick naturally is gonna rest on the thinnest string. That last bit. Cool. So that is every piece of it, step by step. There's a chord chart on my website, the tab. You can print it out and you can do the whole thing. Let's just play it with a metronome. This will be your final test once you've learned it, playing along with the metronome. And then you can kind of add your own rhythms to it and make it your own. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you enjoy learning guitar with me, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel, like the video. I have all this stuff on my website, so please check that out. I also have membership now available to my website. So if you want to accelerate your guitar journey, get all the bonuses that come with my YouTube lessons, there's worksheets and all sorts of stuff. Join the Good Guitarist community, which is a place where you can actually get feedback directly from me. There's all this awesome stuff. I'm going to put a link to that down below as well. Have a fun time practicing, and I'll see you soon.